I was right here. Who did you leave him with? Your people?
It happened at dinner. Of course it did. A Tuesday. Pasta. The kind of evening where everyone's shoes are off and the TV is on in the other room, and the adults are half talking and half scrolling, and the child is doing what children do, which is existing in the room at full volume, while the adults exist in it at 20%. And then the child said your name, not the way adults say your name, carefully, like handling something with an edge on it. The child said it the way children say everything, plainly, without warning, without adjusting the temperature of the room first to make sure the word was safe to land. They just opened their mouth, between a bite of pasta and a sip of juice, and said it, your name, out loud, at the dinner table, in a room full of people who had agreed.
Never start with the head. The victim gets all fuzzy. He can't feel the neck.
Without ever putting it in words, to pretend you didn't exist. The fork stopped. Not one fork, several. The specific, synchronized pause of adults who have all heard the same grenade hit the same floor at the same time and are each independently calculating how to survive it. The child didn't notice the pause. Children don't. Children don't understand that a name can be a detonation in a room that has spent years building itself around the absence of the person the name belongs to. The child just asked a question, a simple one sentence, probably fewer than 10 words. Something like, how come we never see them anymore? Or, where did they go? Or, the devastating one, the one that cuts through every adult defense like a wire through clay. Are they mad at us? Are they mad at us? As if you were the one who left by choice. As if you decided one morning to stop showing up. As if the absence was your project and not theirs. The child doesn't know that. The child only knows the shape of the hole, and the hole is shaped like you. And the child has been walking around that hole for however many months or years, navigating it without being told it was there, absorbing the unspoken rule that the hole is not to be mentioned, that the shape is not to be named, that the space where you used to be is now a room the family has agreed to keep locked. Children pick locks. That's what they do. Not with malice, with curiosity, with the unfiltered, ungovernable honesty of a person who hasn't yet learned that some truths are kept in drawers, and some drawers are kept closed, and some closedness is more important to the adults than the truth inside.
I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you?
The child picked the lock at the dinner table on a Tuesday, and now the adults have to answer. Let me tell you what happened in the 3 seconds after the question landed, because 3 seconds is a long time in a room full of people who are lying. 3 seconds is enough for every adult at that table to run an internal calculation so fast and so panicked it would burn out a processor. The calculation goes like this. Do I tell the truth? If I tell the truth, what does the truth expose? If the truth exposes me, what does the child now think of me? If the child thinks less of me, what have I just lost? And if I don't tell the truth, what do I say instead that is close enough to hold for now, vague enough to survive follow-up questions, and gentle enough that the child doesn't feel the shape of the lie? That calculation happened behind every adult face at that table, in 3 seconds. And every single one of them arrived at the same answer, a non-answer, a deflection, something soft and empty like, oh, people just get busy sometimes, or we just kind of lost touch, sweetheart, or the masterpiece of avoidance, the sentence that reveals everything by revealing nothing. It's complicated. It's complicated. The 2-word sarcophagus they built for your entire presence in their lives. It's complicated. Which translates to, the truth makes us look bad, and we're not ready to look bad in front of a child we need to believe we're good. But here's the thing about children.
You complete me.
You're garbage who kills for money.
Don't talk like one of them. You're not.
The thing that makes them the most dangerous people at any table where a lie is being served alongside the pasta. Children don't accept it's complicated. That phrase works on adults because adults have learned to treat it as a door that politely closes. Children treat it as a door that just got interesting. The child asked a follow-up. Of course they did, because children are not built to absorb non-answers. They're built to ask again, louder, simpler, more directly, until the answer either arrives or the adult's composure breaks, whichever comes first. What did we do? 4 words. What did we do? Not what happened, which would allow them to describe events passively, as if events just occur, like weather, without authors. What did we do? The child, without any training in rhetoric or psychology or interrogation, instinctively framed the question in a way that assigned responsibility to the table. Not to you, to them. What did we do to make this person leave? And the table couldn't answer. Not because they didn't know, because they knew exactly. They knew it so precisely, so specifically, so documentably, that the answer would have taken longer than the dinner. It would have required explaining decisions the child has no framework for. It would have required admitting that the adults at this table did things to you. Small things, systemic things, things that looked like nothing from the outside and felt like everything from the inside, that accumulated into a debt so large you had no choice but to leave, because staying meant absorbing a cost that was never yours to pay. They would have had to explain the exclusion that was never announced, just practiced.
Even if you'd like to be. To them, you're just a freak. Like me.
The conversations that happened around you instead of with you. The way your name started appearing less in plans, less in group threads, less in the architecture of the family's daily life. Not because you withdrew, but because they withdrew you. One interaction at a time, so gradually that by the time you noticed, the withdrawal was already old enough to be called a pattern instead of a choice. They would have had to explain that they chose someone else's version of you over your actual self, that someone told a story about you, maybe not even a dramatic story, maybe just a tone, a raised eyebrow, a well-placed maybe she's just like that, and they accepted it, not because the evidence was strong, because the alternative was harder. The alternative was confronting the storyteller. The alternative was defending you. The alternative was standing in a room where the consensus was forming like weather and saying, actually, I don't agree. I think we're wrong about this person. That would have cost them something. And they decided without ever saying it out loud that your presence in their lives was not worth the cost of defending it. That's the lie the child just walked into. That's the sarcophagus the child just opened with 4 words and a face full of pasta. And here's what they don't realize about the child. The child already knows more than they think. Children are forensic scientists without credentials. They don't analyze, they absorb. And this child has been absorbing evidence for a long time. The child has noticed the photos, the ones that were rearranged on the shelf, the ones where the groupings changed, the ones where a figure was cropped, or an album was moved to a lower shelf, or a picture that used to be on the fridge is now in a drawer. The child didn't understand the rearrangement when it happened, but the child registered it, filed it, the way children file everything, without labels, without context, just raw sensory data stored in a body that will decode it years later. The child has noticed the way stories get edited in real time. Someone starts telling a memory, a holiday, a birthday, a trip, and midway through, the story bends. A pronoun gets swapped. A detail gets skipped. The story arrives at its ending missing a character, and the child feels the seam where the edit happened, the way you'd feel a patch in a road without seeing it. Smooth enough for adults to drive over, not smooth enough for a child sitting in the back seat feeling every bump.
They need you right now. When they don't, they'll cast you out. Like a leper.
The child has noticed the object. There's always an object. Something in the house that clearly belongs to you. A mug nobody uses. A book on a shelf nobody reads. A blanket folded in a closet that smells different from everything else. Something the family kept, either because removing it would require acknowledging you existed, or because the person who misses you most couldn't bring themselves to throw it away. The child has touched this object. The child doesn't know whose it is, but the child knows it belongs to the shape of the whole. It has the same temperature as the name nobody says, and there is a person at that table who misses you. Let me talk about them, because they're the reason the lie almost broke tonight. This person was closest to you. This person chose the table over you, and they know it, and they have carried that knowledge in a part of their body that only activates at night, when the house is quiet and the performance of having made the right decision goes dark. This person didn't hate you. That's the unbearable part. They loved you. They loved you, and they let you be erased, because the cost of defending you was social, and the cost of losing you was private, and social costs are visible, and private costs are not. They chose the one that wouldn't show, and it shows anyway. It shows in the way they overlaugh at things that aren't funny. It shows in the way they've become a little meaner to the people they kept, as if proximity to the people they chose is a reminder that the choice was wrong. It shows in the way they picked up the child's plate tonight a little too quickly after the question, as if clearing the table could clear the room of what was just said. This person almost told the truth. When the child asked, "What did we do?" this person's mouth opened half a second before the rest of the tables, and for that half second, the truth was right there, sitting on the tongue, ready, and then the room closed around it.
Have all these rules, and you think they'll save you?
The consensus kicked in, the architecture held, and they said the safe version, the sanded down version, and it tasted like dust, and dinner continued. But this person will not sleep well tonight. This person will lie in the dark and hear the child's question on repeat, and they will know, the way only a person who was once brave enough to love you knows, that the question is not going away, that the child will ask again, and that the lie has a shelf life. And here is why they couldn't lie. Not fully, not the way they've been lying to each other, to themselves, to the narrative they've been maintaining for months or years. They couldn't lie because the child was looking at them, not with suspicion, not with accusation, with trust, with the wide, clear, unguarded trust of a person who still believes that the adults at this table are good, and that good people don't make other people disappear, and that if someone is gone, there must be a reason that makes sense. The child was waiting for the reason, waiting with the total faith that the reason would be reasonable, and every adult at that table knew, in the 3 seconds it took to do the calculation, that no reasonable reason exists. Because the reason isn't reasonable. The reason is cowardice. The reason is convenience. The reason is that erasing you was easier than examining themselves. You can lie to an adult who suspects you. You can maintain a story in a room full of people who have each agreed to maintain it. But you cannot lie, cleanly, to a child who trusts you, while that child is looking directly at your face asking what you did. The lie curdles in your mouth. It tastes different in front of small eyes. It weighs different when the person you're delivering it to still believes you completely. Lying to someone who trusts you absolutely is the one thing the human face was not designed to do convincingly. So they couldn't, not all the way. Someone at that table, maybe the one who was closest to you, maybe the one who carries the most guilt, maybe just the one who was too tired to maintain the architecture that evening. Someone said something that was almost the truth. Something that cracked the sarcophagus half an inch. Something like, We didn't treat them very well. Or, I think we made some mistakes.
Just stay. You're dreaming, man. She wasn't interested at all. Are you nuts? Did you see how close we were dancing? She wasn't.
Or just a long pause and a look at the plate that the child will remember for years, without understanding why. That half-inch crack is everything. Because children grow. That's the thing the table forgot. Children grow, and as they grow, they revisit the things that didn't make sense at the dinner table. They replay the pauses. They re-examine the half-answers. They notice, as they get older, the specific silence that falls when your name enters a room. And one day, years from now, that child will be old enough to ask the question again. Not as a child this time, as a person. And the lie, which barely survived a Tuesday dinner table, will not survive an adult conversation with a person who has been quietly collecting evidence since they were small. The child will find you. I want you to know that. Maybe not soon. Maybe not the way you'd imagine, but children who are told someone disappeared without a good reason grow into adults who go looking for the disappeared person, not because they were told to, because the gap never made sense. And humans don't stop pulling at things that don't make sense just because the adults told them to stop. One day, a person you haven't seen since they were small will reach out to you, and they won't come with the family's version. They'll come with the question they asked at the dinner table, grown up now, refined, carrying years of quiet observation. They'll say, I always wondered about you. They'll say, the story didn't add up. They'll say, I think they were wrong, and you'll be there, wherever you are by then, in the life you built without them, in the room you furnished with your own hands. And you'll tell them the version nobody at that table was brave enough to tell them when they were small. Not the bitter version, not the revenge version, the clean one, the one that says, I loved them, I did, and the love wasn't enough to protect me from the way they loved me back. So I left, not because I stopped caring, because I started caring about myself with the same intensity I'd been caring about them, and the math didn't work anymore. The child will understand, not because children understand complexity, because by then they won't be a child anymore. They'll be a person who grew up inside the gap your absence made, who felt the shape of the hole without ever being told what used to fill it, who learned, slowly, over years of watching the adults avoid a name, that the thing the family was most afraid of was not your absence but the reason for it. And you, let me talk to you now. Let me talk to you the way nobody at that table has earned the right to. You didn't erase yourself, you were erased. And the difference between those two things is the difference between a person who left and a person who was left with no choice. You did not abandon that table. That table was designed gradually, over time, to have no chair for you. And when you stopped showing up, they called it your choice. The same way you'd call it a fish's choice to leave a river that someone dammed. The child's question is the river remembering. The child's question is the table realizing that a chair is missing and no amount of rearranging hides the gap. The child's question is a four-word crack in a story that took years to build and one dinner to break. You weren't there for it. You don't need to be. You've already done the hardest part, which was leaving a table that had your name on it and building one of your own. And at your table, nobody's name is kept in a drawer. Nobody's presence is conditional. Nobody has to earn the right to be mentioned out loud. That's not revenge. That's architecture. You built a table with no locked rooms, and somewhere, on a Tuesday, over pasta, a child just proved that theirs has one. They couldn't lie, not all the way, not with those eyes looking at them. And that half-inch crack in the story, it's not closing, it's growing, one question at a time.